In this exercise, we're going to lay down a base layer that's going to convey much of the highlight and shadow detail about the glass so that we can then build on that base layer in order to create the final effect. Now, I have open, as before, I have open this star pattern.jpg image that's found inside the 10 masking folder. I also have, from that same folder, I have opened the splashin-glass.jpg image. And I have a little bit of a magic wand selection outline going on from the previous exercise. I don't really need it. We saw how bad it is. But I want to point out something about the Move tool that you might find of interest. Notice the appearance of the cursor when I have the Move tool cursor inside the selection. It looks like a black arrowhead with a pair of scissors next to it, and that indicates that I will move just the selected portion of the image, like so. All right, I'm going to undo that modification and put the glass back. Now, if I move my cursor outside of the selection, then it appears as a black arrowhead with a little four-way arrow cursor thing, like a compass rose or something next to it. And that shows me that I'm going to move the entire image. So I want you to go ahead and do that. I want you to go ahead and drag that entire image, regardless of whether you have a selection outline or not, into the star pattern background. Then press the Shift key, press and hold that Shift key, and drop the glass into place. And notice the entire glass comes over, and the selection outline does not come over with it. So you just get the entire glass, and that's all, which is good. We want that entire glass. We do not want that obnoxious magic wand selection. It was no good for our purposes. Now, notice that Photoshop has thoughtfully put the glass on an independent layer above the star pattern that appears on the background layer here. Let's go ahead and double-click on the words Layer 1, and we'll rename this layer something along the line of Base Glass, and then press the Enter key or the Return key in order to accept that modification. Notice the word Normal here inside the Layers palette. If you click on the word Normal, you're going to reveal a list, a very long list of blend modes. Now, we're going to examine all of these blend modes in glorious detail in a forthcoming chapter. Another one of those really exciting topics, as it turns out. But for now, I just want you to blindly select this guy right here, Hard Light. And the hard light mode is going to retain the highlights and retain the shadows and drop away the midtones to reveal the layer below. Now, it doesn't reveal a ton of the layer below because the image is so very dark. That background is so dark. So we need to reduce the opacity of this layer a little bit. Now, notice that the hard light mode remains active here on the PC, so I'll press the Escape key in order to make it inactive. On the Macintosh side, you don't have to do that. Then I'm going to press the 8 key to reduce the opacity value to 80%. You can see that right there. Pressing a number key when any one of these selection tools is active affects the opacity of the active layer. So I just reduced the opacity of the layer to 80%. It's a little more palatable now. We can see through to the star layer in the background. We can see some nice, rich shadows. However, our highlights, it seems to me, are a little bit weak. And I'm going to go ahead and Shift-Tab away those palettes once again so that we can compare this star pattern composition that I've created so far to the final composition that I'm going for. This is the glass on pattern image, also found inside the 10 masking folder. And you can see how much better those highlights are. And that's a function of having selected the highlights and move them over again in a separate pass into this star pattern background. And we are going to do exactly that using the color range command beginning in the next exercise.